a lot about who they are, particularly without Embiid for 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, you always get a good measure of who and what you are when you get away from the comforts of home. For a team like Philadelphia, doing it, with Al Horford in the mix now, gives you a little bit different wrinkle. Josh Richardson in the mix, so they'll learn each other a little bit away from the confines of home. But also, it gives you a chance to measure yourself against those teams you're not going to see a whole lot of this season, just to see where you stack up.
I'm interested to see how they play without Redick. Redick was such a good floor spacer for those guys. Always had a defender out, giving everybody more room in Philly. Without Joel Embiid, for them to be able to go in and win a few of these games, that's huge. Because Embiid is the most dominant big guy in the league by far. I mean, he's just got the ability to house people. He takes you in the post, he can dunk on, he can make the three, he's got great hands. So missing him is just huge for this Philly team. They come out some wins while he's being serving his suspension. But don't sleep on the Suns. Monty Williams got those guys playing hard. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team, but they play so much harder this year than they did last year that they'll be a fun team to watch.
Completely different focus with Monty Williams running that show.
I've heard a lot of analytic conversations with you. In fact, you did a great show on NBA TV last year talking about analytics. I remember that. But let me give you one number. I'm curious if you buy into it all.
Okay.
Net rating. It's the big number that a lot of analytical people will look to. Right now, we're only 2.5 weeks into the season. The Phoenix Suns are 3rd in the NBA in net rating. They're a plus 8.5. 3rd in the NBA.
Yeah, again, if you're looking at a 40-game segment,
probably a little more.
Yeah, I think that plays out over the course of the season, 4 or 5 games. But forget all that analytics crap. Your eyes tell you. Your eyes tell you. Yeah,
he's back.
Yeah. Your eyes tell you one thing. If you're not playing hard, I don't care what your analytics say. You're just not going to win. These guys, the Suns, are playing hard.
By the way, the Heat are 1st currently in net rating.
They play hard.
Yeah, followed by the Lakers, they're 2nd, and then the Phoenix Suns. Right now, 58-51 over on League Pass. You want to watch the Suns and the Sixers. Tobias Harris got 16. Al Horford's got 12. We're getting set for the second game of our doubleheader. We've got the Blazers and the Warriors going. Hassan Whiteside will be able to play tonight for Portland as they'll try and continue to add salt to the wounds of the Golden State Warriors. That tip-off coming about a half an hour from right now. Got much more live looks from around the NBA when we come back on Game Time Live.
He is 13 of 17 from the field. Levert hooks a pass inside. Allen, pirouette! Frenetic!
Only the great Iron Eagle could come up with that one. Frenetic. Get it?
I got it. Throw down.
Oh, wow. Look at you. As the later it gets, the better you get, Kevin. Like a fine wine. Nets come up with a 135-125 win, despite Brandon Ingram's career-high 40. Kyrie Irving drops 39, has 9 assists, and Caris Levert with 23 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He's kind enough to join us now live after the big Nets win. Do you like that Frenetic? You got it, Caris?
Yeah, that was kind of slick. That was kind of slick right there. I like that.
That's Birdman coming up with that. Nobody else better. Hey, how much good did a couple of days off give you guys after that bad taste in your mouth after losing to Detroit coming into tonight?
Yeah, that was a tough loss for us. We felt like we should have won that one on the road. But, 3 games in 4 days, we had a day to get our bodies right, and I feel like we took care of home tonight.
Caris, is it presumptuous of us at all to just assume that you guys would come back into this season and immediately absorb Kyrie and some of those new faces into the mix, or does it take a little time to get that chemistry down?
I think it takes a little bit of time. You're kind of seeing that right now. We're going through a little bit of growing pains, but at the end of the day, our hard work, our consistency, our will to win is kind of putting us over the top right now.
It looked like to start the game off that you guys had much more of you were going to move. You weren't watching Kyrie play one-on-one. It looked like you guys had spent a couple days in practice really working on your movement, and I like the fact that everybody was handling it and pushing it. Was that really a conscious effort by you guys to change your style a little bit?
I honestly don't think we changed it that much, man. We let Kyrie do him. He's a great player. He's great with the ball in his hands, but sometimes we like to relieve him of those pressures. And I feel like today we did a good job of kind of mixing it up.
Caris, you guys so good offensively here at times this season. What defensively has to start clicking for you? What have you talked about in terms of what you need to improve on that end?
We do it really well in spurts. I think you saw it today in the second quarter. We let him. We held him to under 20, and in the third quarter they had almost 50. So we just had to be more consistent with it.
What about those signs from Coach Atkinson? We're going to see more of those maybe to help you guys defensively.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, that's our colleague, 3D Dennis Scott. So if you could maybe put a sign with Kevin McHale's name on it, that would really help us out, too. Maybe a big X there, too.
I'll tell Coach about that
Thank
for
you,
sure.
Caris. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Caris, the 32 assists, is that the blueprint for how this team is going to be successful this year, sharing the ball and everybody kind of being involved and facilitating for each other like that?
Absolutely. That's something that, Coach preaches. That's something that we preach as players, playing unselfish, taking a good shot to a great shot. And I think we did that tonight for sure.
Caris, you told me over the summer that you were looking forward to playing Kyrie Irving in one-on-one ball. We talked about that at Summer League. Has that happened yet? Have you gotten an opportunity to show him what you have one-on-one?
Played a little bit in the summer. We haven't played too much now that the season's going on, but definitely be more to come for sure.
All right, Caris, appreciate you joining us. Congratulations on the win tonight, and safe travels on that West Coast swing you guys have.
Absolutely. Appreciate that, my man.
It's a good guy, Caris Levert right there. Big performance out of him tonight. The Nets, while they wait for Kevin Durant to come back, they're going to look for a second scorer. Man, the way he finished the year last year and the way he played in the playoffs, even though they lost 4-1 to Philadelphia, came back, he's got a chance to be a real special offensive player in this league.
Yeah, I think, next year, of course, everybody knows bringing in KD, he's going to be able to score the ball. But you have to have multiple people score the ball for you, especially when you start getting into playoffs and playoff runs, because they're going to be able to take people out of the game. But I like him. He had a good end last year to his season, and he's got nice range on his jumper. He shoots it very, very easily. I like his cutting and moving. He seems to have a really high basketball IQ, so nice young player.
Yeah, and I think if you go back to his career at Michigan, where he didn't get a chance to play his last year, injury kind of sidelined him, he was on a trajectory, guys, to be one of those special players in college basketball. Just the ability at his size to take guys off the dribble and to finish at the rim and then have that range out beyond the three-point line. He's got all the tools you need. It's just a matter of him finding his fit with Kyrie and Kevin Durant next season, I think. But this is a huge year for him now to establish himself as that other guy.
Reminder, about 20 minutes away from the Warriors and Blazers second half of our Monday night doubleheader here on NBA TV. But let's dive into your brain here.
Okay.
Coach McHale, and tell us what you saw tonight by this Nets offense in our first game of our doubleheader.
Well, I saw a lot of pick and roll that they used, and I thought the big guys rolling hard. They had nice spacing. I thought they had more ball movement than, and you're going to see again, they run a screen and roll, and all of a sudden the big fella goes out here. And this thing I like, he's not hanging on the perimeter. He's going right to the front of the rim. And if they don't pick you up, you have a dunk. If they do pick you up, you're going to get a wide open shot for your teammate. Again, going in there and Allen with the throwdown. Everything you're going to see him do is just around the basket. Again, another guy driving. He's presenting himself, though. I like the fact that he's getting his hands up and presenting himself. So you don't have to make great passes to him. You have to make easy passes to him. And again, right here, it's in the right spot, finishing at the rim. And you're going to see him again. He's going to go here, be another drive here. And he just is able to get in the right spot, finish off this pass, watch this pass out. And then all of a sudden, right now, he just throws the rookie out of the way. Jeez, that was the throwdown. And he just throws him out of the way, saying, give me that ball. Throws it down. So he had a big impact on this game. He's just around the rim all the time. I like the way he rolls. I like the way he presents himself. And so he's just one of those guys that's going to collapse the defense constantly by rolling. And when you play four wing players, we talked about it earlier, and you get one big guy rolling hard, he's either going to present himself and be open at the rim, or if he's covered up, one of your perimeter guys can get a three.
Say this, and you hate to see any injuries with DeAndre Jordan getting out, but clearly Jared Allen, all throughout the summer, dating back to the questionable reason why he even participated in Summer League this year, he's clearly looking over his shoulder. He knew that there was competition for minutes in the starting job, and through the first couple of weeks, we've seen flip-flopping of DeAndre starting some games and Jared Allen starting some games. You have to wonder, DeAndre Jordan gets an ankle injury tonight and goes out. Is there a little more freedom that Jared Allen plays with tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think once, you're out there, you're not looking over your shoulder as the guy coming in the game. Excuse me, but he's going to play the same way all the time, no matter who's on the floor.
Right.
He's a pick and roll, pick and dive, present himself, drives, move around, get in the soft spot of the defense, be at the rim. But he does it very, very well. Plus, I like his activity on the defensive end.
Yeah, and I think for all those young players on that roster, they knew after the summer the Nets had, there was going to be some adjustments. There will be more competition. There's going to be a different kind of staking out your territory in terms of minutes and roles on this team. So it's not like Jared Allen didn't know this coming in. It's just a matter of who raises their game to match that competition level that's been increased dramatically.
Well, the guy we know who clearly has a defined role on this team is Kyrie Irving. He put up the 39, and that'll stand out, particularly the 18 in the third quarter to try and temper that big Pelicans run that they went on. But Sekou, it's the 9 assists that maybe stand out the most. Third straight game for Kyrie with 9 or more assists.
It's not only the 9 assists, it's where he was in terms of receiving the basketball on some nice feeds from some other guys. I like Kyrie's game by itself, right? I mean, he's a fantastic, outstanding individual player. But I don't think people give him enough credit for being as good as he is when he's off the ball. Think about it. Some of his best moments in this league have been on the receiving end of passes. You can go back to that finals with Cleveland. He's a fantastic player with a wealth of skills. And sometimes I think we get down in the sauce with Kyrie and the ball handling and the flashiness. But he really is a fundamentally sound basketball player who's able to do a lot more things on the floor than his size would dictate.
But he came in the league with LeBron, who is the point guard essentially on any team he plays on all the time. So he had to play off the ball, and he did play well off the ball. The 9 assists were impressive. The 23 assists by all the others was way more impressive to me. That means you had good ball movement. You had good, like I say, the big guys were diving. The spacing was nice. They didn't play on top of each other tonight, so everybody had room. And when you have room, usually you're going to have a lot of assists because the passes are very simple to make. When you play on top of each other, it's just the openings just aren't there as much. So I like their spacing. I like the way they played tonight. They looked at a nice cohesive unit with 32 assists. Impressive by the Nets.
Yeah, and the number of threes that they hit too, where they have 16 more tonight in this game. Nets and Pelicans, first 2 teams in the NBA this season to reach 100 threes made. I don't know what that means.
And the Pelicans, after being brutally bad from the three-point line, 3 for 18 in the first half, were 10 for 14 in the second half, and that allowed them to get back in this game.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about, we've been asking the question nonstop about Brandon Ingram. You know, what is he? What's his ceiling? What type of player can he be? This is the Brandon Ingram that has people super excited about his potential and what he could become in a new situation, in an offense, I think, Jared, that really opens up the game for him.
Career high 40 points for Brandon Ingram, leading you up to the Warriors and Blazers here on NBA TV. But an incident developing right now in Memphis where there's been an altercation between James Harden and Jay Crowder. Check out Harden here with the basketball. Lower portion of your screen. Harden, a shot below the waist, it appears. Crowder took exception to it as any human being would. Yeah. And Crowder then wants a piece of Harden. Ben McLemore is going to step in the middle here. Take a look at the offhand for Harden. Did he do it intentionally? Clearly hit him, Mac.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Crowder would get ejected from the game here.
Oh, he got ejected for what? Getting hit below the belt? Well, come on, man. You can't get ejected for getting hit in the jewels. What kind of league are we running anymore? What is going on? Goodness gracious. Are you kidding me? What has happened to the NBA? What? Oh, Lord.
By the way, James Harden has 38 points.
I got to go home. Someone give me a ride. Get me back to the hotel. I can't take this anymore.
Jay Crowder has been ejected. We'll keep you updated on Memphis and the Rockets. Meanwhile, coming up to the second game of our doubleheader here on NBA TV, Lillard coming off of a 33-point performance in Portland's loss to the Sixers. How will they bounce back tonight? They're in the Bay, not in Oakland, though. We'll see how Lillard feels about it tonight in San Francisco. That's next on NBA TV.